Hey, how you doing? I didn't see you there. Me, Jokeypants, back with another movie, and this time we're going even older. We're going the oldest movie I've covered so far, which is another one from my childhood. They gave me a childhood fear, and boy, did it fuck me up when I watched it for one particular scene that we'll get to. We're talking about 1980 Alligator. This was based on an urban legend of if you flush an alligator down the toilet and there's alligators in the sewers. That's where this movie kind of got its premise. But boy, oh boy, did they really fucking take this to like an extreme. And I love this movie. I love it so much. And I like the sequel, which I'll cover next. So Alligator, this movie opens up with a little girl and her family. They're off at this alligator show, and they see some dude get horribly fucking mangled because he fucks up. But this little girl's a fucking psychopath because she sees that and it's like, I want an alligator for myself. So they do.
It's starting to rain.
What about when it grows up?
I'll give it to a zoo.
Pick yourself a cute one, honey. Go ahead. They won't hurt you. They're tender little babies. Come on.
Oh yeah, they're totally timid. They totally don't just, become giant fucking monsters of an animal, and they shouldn't be your pet. This is a thing for all of you. Don't make an alligator a pet, because they will get bigger than you could handle, and they will eat you if they can. Don't let anyone lie to you. They're fucking predators for a reason, and if they think they can, they fucking will. But anyway, she brings it home. She names it Ramon. She just names it Ramon. But then the next day, she's literally at school, and her dad's like, we need to get rid of this fucking thing, blah, 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 blah. And he flushes it down the toilet. Doesn't even try to, give it back to anywhere. He just flushes it down the toilet, and then his lies about, we'll just say it died. First off, who the fuck just decides, we'll flush a fucking baby alligator down the toilet? Who the fuck does that anyway? Well, it ends up down in the sewer, and then we jump to 12 years later, where we meet Robert Forrester, who's playing a cop named Cop Madison, right? And Madison's out buying a dog. He's vetting a pet store owner for some reasons we'll get into very quickly. But then he ends up getting called away because they've been finding body parts and dead dogs in the sewer filtration. There's just a big problem with dead dogs and body parts as of late. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck is that thing. I don't know. Somebody's killing fucking people and dogs? I don't know. And then it cuts over to a stray Labrador that we find our pet owner driving around in a van who's checking out this lost dog, and he shoves it in his van. Turns out he's been giving lost dogs to a lab called Slade Labs, and that's where that's where all the missing dogs have been going, is this company has been experimenting on them, and he ends up talking about they need puppies.
I also got a parrot I'd like to get rid of.
Puppies. And we're through with those. You can dump them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He just wants dogs apparently. So that's the whole thing. He tries to get rid of some other shit and no, puppies. Very specific, very fucked up and specific. So the pet owner has to take care of the dead ones from past experiments, and then things happen. And dog doesn't quite go where he wants it to. He's not going down the thing, and he sees the drainage he's been throwing him in is all blocked off. So the pet store owner has to climb down and clear it out. But then he gets gator karma'd because the gator ends up getting him, which is well fucking deserved. After that happens, Cop Madison ends up going to the lab, and he's like, hey, where do you get your pets? And they're all telling him they get them from the pound and whatnot, which is obviously a lie. And then that same exact scientist ends up getting questioned by the CEO, and he's all like, don't be telling them anything. We got a whole bunch of legal matters and blah, blah, blah. And he talks about how they're fucking with the law and talking with the mayor, blah, blah, blah. So then, because everything's been in the sewer, Madison's like, all right, I guess I got to go down in the sewer, and who's going to go with me? One of the rookies, Kelly, ends up offering to go with him, and as long as he gets boots, because he can't get his new clean shoes dirty. Whatever. But as they're going to leave, a guy walks in claiming to be the killer and has a fake bomb attached to him, and it's a whole scene.
On the radio, on the radio.
Can't take your finger away from that button, please.
Kelly,
They told me to. The voices. Don't you see the voices?
Hey, buddy.
The voices.
Buddy, you want to know the truth? I used to be a left-hander, they made me a right-hander. I wanted to be a priest, they made me into a cop. You want to blow the joint up? I don't care what you do. I stopped wanting to be a cop about last week. I had...
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I don't know what you thought was going to happen there, bud. But anyway, they, Madison and the rookie go down into the sewer, and they end up finding, like, a broken wall, and then Kelly ends up disappearing, so then Madison starts freaking out, like, where the fuck did this guy end up going? Which turns into a practical joke on Madison with some grab ass. Yeah, real funny. Real funny with everything that's going on. And then they keep exploring the sewer. They're trying to figure out what the hell might be going on, whatever. And then, holy fuck! It's a big-ass gator! And, they try to get away. But bye, Kelly.
This is stuck. Push! Come on! I
am. Yeah, unfortunately, Kelly ends up getting eaten. And Madison does end up getting out of the sewer, but then gets taken to the hospital because he was ranting like a fucking lunatic, and he ends up waking up, and they tell him, like, you were talking about alligators in the sewer. You're a crazy man. So nobody believes him. They end up going to a special expert, our second main character of the duo that we'll have, Madison and this person, Marissa Kendall, who knows all about reptiles and whatnot, so they end up asking her. But, of course, then it cuts back to the hospital, and there's a reporter that kept, like, bugging him during this, like, news conference about, like, oh, what's actually going on, blah, 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 and this guy is just super persistent, because Madison has a bad past. He lost a partner before, so they think the Kelly thing is related, that he also killed that partner, which we'll find out later is not true. But fucking douchebag ends up going into the fucking sewer, and he takes pictures of the dead dogs and different things down there. And then guess what? He also gets fucking eaten by the goddamn alligator. Yeah, see, just what happens. You fuck around, you find out when you hear about, oh, there's an alligator? I'm gonna go fucking with my camera and nothing else. But they end up finding his camera in one of the filtration things, like they find everything else the gator's been chewing on. And then they finally get it. They get the photos from the camera.
No, not that. Here, look. Huh?
Holy shit.
What do you think, Chief? You believe me now?
Yeah, and then just like that, total chaos breaks out, because obviously they leak it to the press, because Madison's like, well, you want to know what's down there, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, they just, like, go all-out urban warfare against it. And then, they end up trying to flush it out. Doesn't work. Turns out, actually, what we end up finding out, the gator outsmarts them, and they don't end up getting it. It ends up leaving the sewer a different way. But Madison Kendall, turns out she was that little girl from 12 years ago.
No, I had one once when I was little. An alligator.
I just monitored. Get us the call.
My father found it dead one day, though, so I didn't get to keep it very long. His name was Ramon.
It's approximately a quarter.
Yeah, she's like, I had one named Ramon. Yeah, it didn't die. Your dad was an asshole, and he's the reason everyone's dying now. But anyway, because they didn't get it, everyone starts leaving, and then the gator decides, fuck it, I'm just gonna come up through the sidewalk. Yeah, look at that shit, right? But then a cop ends up crashing, trying to avoid the kids that were there as they run away, and then the cop gets fucking eaten, so there's just a cop dead now. And the gator finds his way into the suburbs, looking for some water, because she talks about how he's going to want water to calm down, whatever. And, of course, we got the mayor with the police chief talking about he's not going to shut things down and just take care of it, blah, blah, blah. Typical evil mayor kind of shit going on here. But while they're doing that, right, they're trying to figure out how to, they're bombing, like, the small lake and ponds and things. And then the mayor shows up and he's like, yeah, I hired this man named Colonel Brock. He's a big game hunter, and he's going to take charge.
Charges, see if we can bring him up.
It's a wild animal, not a submarine.
I've flown in Colonel Brock to take charge of the operation.
Take charge?
Yeah, well, he's hunted big game animals all over the world.
It's a new ball game, Dave.
Yeah, Brock's a total douche. Like, just a complete douche. And he ends up having the typical line with Kendall about, if it couldn't kill me, what would be the fun? Boy, does he get what he fucking deserves here in a bit. So, as Madison's walking away, I do want to call out he's a good cop, because he does the right thing in this situation.
It's yours for 20.
Get three, get a couple.
Three pet for kids. Feed them whatever's left on the table, throw some water on it. Huh? Double sauce.
Ross Stanley.
Yeah, what's up?
Bust this guy.
For
Beta Creek. Possession of an endangered species, anything you like.
This is an attack on the free enterprise system.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Throw his ass in jail. Fuck that guy. But Madison ends up getting Kendall's help, and they try to figure out why it's been, why it's so big, because it's like 30, 40 feet is what they're talking about with the footprints and things they've seen. And they figure out that it's after testing some of the dog DNA that has been eating the dead dogs. So, of course, that's why it's been growing so much. And then Brock ends up finding some big old gator dung in an alleyway, and then that's like a whole thing. But then we go back to Madison and Kendall, who go to Slade Labs to try to question them about all of it, which doesn't work well, because then that CEO calls the mayor, because of course those two are fucking in bed together, and Madison gets fired, but not before he takes the fake radio and the bundle of TNT and makes his own fucking bomb with his own goddamn plan, because fuck these people. So back into the sewer Kendall and Madison go. They're going to hunt this fucking thing down. Meanwhile, we have the mayor arguing with the Slate owner about his involvement, about like, hey, if this comes out, it's going to look bad for both of us. And of course, because, that's how it always goes. And Madison goes home, and Kendall calls home, and then we see Madison, the dog he bought, he feeds him corned beef hash, which I don't really think is good for the dog, but hey, who am I? And then we get my childhood fear scene, because this scene made me afraid to get into a pool without really looking at what I was jumping into. It, made me deathly afraid to get in a pool again. Isn't that fucked up? That kid just got fucked up because he wanted to play a pirate. It made me afraid of fucking pools, man. And then we go back to Madison and Kendall. They're talking about how they're going to how they're going to hunt the gator. But then we get back to lovely old Colonel Brock, the big game hunter, who he tries to hire some youth by buying them beer because he's a fucking scumbag. But they go off. He takes his youngins, and then we cut back to Madison and Kendall, who are having some pillow talk, and he tells us the story about what actually happened to his partner. It was just a very bad situation. He got stuck up with a fake gun, and his partner ended up getting shot. Oh, but don't worry, folks, because now we get to Brock, who, he gets his ass eaten being a drunken fucking idiot.
Got him.
Yeah, he fucking deserved it. He was drinking and shit, and of course no one could save him because he wasted all of his ammo and didn't kill the gator, and deserved. But Madison and Kendall find out at a diner because some cops show up and they tell him, and then Madison acts kind of like a dick, and Kendall runs off. But don't worry, because he ends up showing up at her house after Madison has a giant-ass nightmare about Carrie's death, because of course he's going to have some trauma from witnessing that fucking shit. But he goes, they make up, and they head out to go chase down that fucking gator again. Meanwhile, the police are in the canal trying to shoot the gator, but they're a bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah, see, like, how the fuck, how do you even do that? You're a bunch of goddamn morons. But they find out that the gator, what he's doing there, after he eats some of the cops that fell in the water, they find out he's headed towards Slade's party, because of course, you gotta have the evil corpo get his comeuppance. And the gator gets distracted because they're cooking a whole bunch of meat. He kills a maid, fucks up a bunch of other people, and then he eats that evil old mayor.
Open the door! For God's sakes! Slade!
But he ain't done yet! He doesn't eat Slade. Nah, Slade doesn't get the easy way out of getting eaten by the gator. No, he gets crushed in his fucking limo, because fuck that asshole. And now our duo rushes back to the sewer where they figured out the gator had its den where it was before. And there was a whole room full of methane. So the plan basically is Madison is gonna set the bomb, and he's gonna lure the gator. The gator's gonna come back. He runs into it, sets the bomb, but then fuck! Fucking dumb bitch parks her car over the manhole. He can't get out, and time is not on his side. But then he gets out just in time for that boom, and Gator goes bye-bye. Bye, Ramon. Bye, you giant alligator. But then we get the ending to this film, and it sets up for the sequel, Alligator 2, The Next Mutation, because people didn't learn their lesson from the beginning of this movie. And there you have it. That is 1980's Alligator. And next I'll be covering Alligator 2, The Next Mutation. No, they're not fighting the Ninja Turtles. I know it makes it seem that way, but, go check out our podcast, What an Oddcast. You can get it on all podcast platforms. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. You should stick around and check out the Sly Cooper 2 playthrough I'm doing, because I'm almost done. And then I'll be moving on to Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. And if you're watching on TikTok, just leave a like or whatever, and leave me comments of anything you want to see me try to cover, and on this fucking miniseries. Sorry, I can't talk there for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, stay odd, stay happy, stay out of the sewer, don't flush things, stay out of the water, and stop bringing animals back from the dead or gene splicing them. Goodbye, everybody.